If you've ever left for work while your cat watched from the window, you probably assumed they went right back to sleep the moment you were out of sight, didn't you? After all, cats are independent. They're not pack animals. They don't need you the way a dog needs you. And honestly, that's what everyone says about cats, so it makes sense. But here's what most cat owners never learn, and what recent research has completely overturned. Your cat knows exactly when you're leaving. They notice the pattern of behaviors that signal your departure. And what happens in their brain and body during those moments, and in the hours after you're gone, is far more complex, more emotional, and more individual than anyone ever gave them credit for. Because here's the uncomfortable truth that science is only now confirming. Cats form attachments. Real, measurable, psychological attachments to their primary caregivers that function remarkably similar to how human children attach to parents. And when you leave, your cat doesn't just carry on indifferently. Their brain is processing your absence, making predictions about your return, and in some cases, experiencing genuine distress that you'd never see because it happens entirely while you're away. Most owners have no idea what's actually happening in their cat's mind during those hours of separation, and the assumptions they're making, that their cat doesn't care, doesn't notice, doesn't miss them, are fundamentally wrong. Let me show you what's really going on behind those calm, sleepy eyes when you grab your keys and head for the door. Because once you understand this, you'll never think about leaving the house the same way again. Let's start with the moment you begin your departure routine. You shower, get dressed, grab your bag, pick up your keys, head toward the door. To you, these are just the necessary steps of leaving. But to your cat, this is a precise behavioral sequence they've memorized and are actively monitoring. Research on feline cognitive abilities has shown that cats are exceptional at pattern recognition and can predict events based on behavioral sequences they've observed repeatedly. A groundbreaking study published in 2019 in the journal Current Biology fundamentally changed how scientists understand cat-human relationships. The researchers tested whether cats formed secure attachments to their owners using the same secure-based test used to assess attachment in human children and dogs. The results surprised even the researchers. Approximately 65% of cats showed secure attachment to their owners, meaning they used their owner as a source of safety and comfort, showed distress during separation, and displayed relief upon reunion. So when you're going through your leaving routine, here's what's happening in your cat's brain. They're recognizing the pattern. They're predicting the outcome: you're about to disappear. And depending on their attachment style and personality, they're having an emotional response to that prediction. Some cats experience this as mild concern. Others experience something closer to anxiety. And a small percentage experience genuine separation distress. But here's the part that most owners never see. Your cat's response to your departure often doesn't happen until after you're gone. While you're still home, going through your routine, many cats remain calm, or even appear indifferent. They've learned that following you around or showing distress doesn't change the outcome. You still leave. So they conserve their emotional energy for after the door closes. Now let's talk about what happens in the first 15 to 30 minutes after you leave, because this is when the most significant behavioral and physiological changes occur. Research using cameras to monitor cats during owner absence has revealed patterns that completely contradict the "cats don't care" stereotype. For cats with secure attachment, the majority, here's what typically happens. After you leave, they investigate the door you exited through. They might meow a few times, sniff around the threshold, or sit facing the door for a few minutes. This is an active monitoring behavior. They're checking whether you're actually gone or just in another room. Some cats will patrol the house, checking your usual spots, essentially searching for you. Then comes the interesting part. After confirming you're truly absent, many cats will go to a comfort location, often your bed, your favorite chair, or another item that smells strongly of you. Research on feline coping behavior suggests this is a self-soothing strategy. Your scent provides comfort in your absence, acting as a proxy for your presence. This isn't random napping. It's deliberate proximity seeking to the next best thing when you're not available. But for cats with anxious attachment, estimated at 35% in the current biology study, the response is more intense. These cats show measurable signs of stress, excessive vocalization, pacing, loss of interest in food or play, elimination outside the litter box, overgrooming, or destructive behavior. They're not being bad, or acting out. They're experiencing genuine psychological distress from your absence. A study on feline separation anxiety published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that cats with this condition show elevated cortisol levels, the stress hormone, during owner absence, with levels sometimes remaining elevated for hours. These cats aren't indifferent. They're suffering quietly while you're gone, and most owners have no idea because the evidence, stressed vocalizations, anxious behaviors, occurs entirely when they're not home to witness it. If you're starting to realize your cat might be experiencing your departures completely differently than you assumed, that's exactly why Whisker Wisdom exists. Subscribe so you understand what's really happening in your cat's mind, not just what you hope is happening. And stay with me, because what your cat actually does during those hours alone reveals even more about how they experience your absence. So what fills the hours between your departure and return? For most cats, the answer is a lot of sleeping, but not necessarily restful sleep. Here's what researchers have found using activity monitors and cameras. Cats do sleep significant portions of the time their owners are gone, but the sleep patterns differ from nighttime sleep or sleep when the owner is home. During owner absence, many cats engage in vigilant resting rather than deep sleep. They're in a light sleep state where they remain partially alert to sounds and changes in the environment. Their ears swivel toward noises. They wake periodically to check the door or window. This is particularly true for anxiously attached cats, who sleep significantly less during owner absence than securely attached cats. But here's what surprised researchers: many cats also maintain some version of their routine, even without you there. Cats who typically play or explore when their owners are home will sometimes do the same while alone, especially if environmental enrichment is available. Securely attached cats often engage in play, eat normally, use their litter box, and move through the house exploring. Their routine continues, just with periods of checking for your return interspersed. However, anxiously attached cats show a different pattern. Research found they're significantly less likely to engage in normal maintenance behaviors during owner absence. They eat less, play less, explore less. They're essentially in a holding pattern, waiting for your return to feel secure enough to resume normal activities. This has health implications. Cats who won't eat during long absences, or who experience chronic stress multiple times per day during owner work schedules, can develop stress-related health issues over time. And here's the detail that reveals the depth of their temporal awareness: cats track time. Not with clocks, obviously, but through internal circadian rhythms and pattern recognition. Studies on feline time perception suggest that cats can distinguish between short absences, under an hour, and long absences, several hours, and they adjust their behavior accordingly. They're not just existing in the present moment. They're anticipating your return based on learned patterns. Now let's talk about what happens when you actually come home, because your cat's greeting behavior, or lack thereof, reveals exactly what they were experiencing while you were gone. And most owners completely misinterpret what they're seeing. You walk in the door. Does your cat greet you immediately? Some do, running to the door, vocalizing, tail up, rubbing against your legs, following you around. This is often interpreted as, "They're happy I'm home to feed them." And yes, food might be part of it, but research on reunion behavior suggests something deeper. A study analyzing cat behavior during owner returns found that greeting intensity correlates strongly with attachment security. Cats who greet enthusiastically aren't necessarily hungry. Many do this even when fed by automatic feeders. They're engaging in reunion behavior that serves to re-establish the social bond after separation. The rubbing, the vocalizations, the following, these are bonding rituals, not just resource seeking. But here's where it gets interesting. Some cats don't greet at all. You come home and your cat barely acknowledges you. They might glance up from where they're sleeping, or they might actively avoid you for the first several minutes. and owners interpret this as indifference or proof that their cat didn't miss them. But behavioral research suggests a completely different explanation. Delayed greeting or avoidance after reunion can actually be a sign of anxious attachment. These cats experience stress during your absence, and they're essentially giving you the cold shoulder as a coping mechanism. It's similar to how a young child might initially reject a parent who left them at daycare, not because they don't care, but because they do care and they're processing the emotions of having been left and then retrieved. Research on this phenomenon found that cats displaying avoidance or delayed greeting often approach and seek contact within 10 to 30 minutes after owner return, once they've regulated their emotions. They're not indifferent. They're overwhelmed and need time to process. So what does all of this mean for how you should actually leave and return? Because once you understand what your cat is experiencing, you can structure departures and returns in ways that reduce stress and support secure attachment. For departures, the key is predictability without drama. Some owners make a big fuss when leaving, lots of petting, talking, apologizing to their cat for having to go. This actually increases stress by highlighting the departure as a significant event. Research suggests that calm, consistent departure routines with minimal fanfare help cats predict the pattern without becoming emotionally activated by it. Before you leave, consider, is your cat mentally and physically tired? A play session 10 to 15 minutes before departure, followed by feeding, sets up the natural hunt-eat-groom-sleep cycle that encourages rest during your absence. Is environmental enrichment available? Puzzle feeders, window views, safe toys, and comfortable resting spots give your cat options for self-soothing and engagement. For returns, the research suggests allowing your cat to approach you on their timeline rather than immediately seeking them out. Put down your things, settle in, and let your cat initiate contact when they're ready. This respects their processing time and doesn't pressure them into interaction before they've regulated their emotions. And here's the detail that matters for anxiously attached cats: departures and returns should be low-key events, not highlighted as emotionally significant. The more you can normalize the pattern through calm consistency, the more your cat learns that departures predict returns, and stress decreases over time. But here's the deepest truth that ties all of this together, and it's the one that changes how you think about the entire relationship. Your cat's experience of your absence isn't about independence versus dependence. It's about attachment style and individual personality. Some cats are genuinely comfortable with alone time. They're securely attached, confident in your return, and capable of self-soothing through rest, play, and routine maintenance. When you leave, they think, "My person has left. They always come back. I'll rest until then." This isn't indifference. It's secure attachment functioning exactly as it should. Other cats are anxiously attached. When you leave, they think, "My person has left. Will they come back? I don't know how to feel safe without them here." This isn't clinginess or behavioral problems. It's insecure attachment that needs support through environmental management, routine consistency, and in some cases, behavioral intervention. And some cats fall in the middle, generally comfortable but with situational stress depending on how long you're gone, what happened before you left, or changes in routine. Their experience varies day to day. The point isn't that all cats think the same thing when you leave. It's that they're all thinking something. They're processing. They're experiencing emotions. They're not blank slates who power down the moment you exit. They're complex beings with internal experiences that continue whether you're there to witness them or not. Research on cat cognition continues to reveal depths of emotional and cognitive processing that earlier science denied them. Cats aren't small, furry automatons. They're individuals with personalities, attachment styles, memories, expectations, and yes, feelings about whether you're home or away. At Whisker Wisdom, we believe cats deserve to be understood as the complex beings they actually are, not the stereotypes we've assigned them. If this changed how you think about what your cat experiences when you leave, share it with someone who still believes cats don't care when they're alone. Your cat knows when you're leaving. They notice the pattern. They predict what's coming. And depending on who they are as an individual, They experience your absence with anything from calm confidence to genuine distress. They're not indifferent. They're not just waiting for their next meal. They're existing in time, in a space that suddenly doesn't include you, processing that absence in ways that are entirely invisible to you because you're not there to see it. When you come home tonight, your cat might run to greet you, or they might ignore you for 10 minutes before seeking you out. Either way, they experienced your absence. They tracked time. They anticipated your return. And when that door opened and you came back, just like you always do, their brain registered, prediction confirmed. Safety restored. Bond intact. That's not indifference. That's attachment working exactly as evolution designed it. And maybe tomorrow, when you grab your keys and head for the door, you'll understand that those calm eyes watching you leave are processing something far deeper than you ever realized. They're thinking, "You're leaving. But you always come back. I'll be here when you do." And they will be. Waiting, resting, maintaining routine, or sometimes struggling with the absence. But always, in their own way, missing you more than they'll ever be able to tell you. Because that's what attachment means. Even for cats.